Good evening and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's begin with the headlines. Parliament approves resolution abrogating special status to Jammu and Kashmir under Article 370. Lok Sabha passes it with two-thirds majority. 351 members vote in support, 72 against it. Lower House also passes bill to split Jammu and Kashmir into Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh Union territories by 370 votes in favour and 70 against. Prime Minister Modi terms move momentous. Government will do everything for the development of Jammu and Kashmir, asserts Amit Shah in Lok Sabha. Assures Jammu and Kashmir will get full statehood as soon as situation becomes normal. Home Minister reiterates Article 370 robbed people in the state of their rights, holds Nehru responsible. Parliament approves Consumer Protection Bill 2019. Rajya Sabha passes bill that provides mechanism for redressal of consumer complaints regarding defects in goods and deficiency in services, imposes penalty for false or misleading advertisements. Rajya Sabha passes Public Premises Eviction of Unauthorized Occupants Amendment Bill 2019. Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri says bill will have a deterrent effect on those who continue to illegally occupy accommodations. And Supreme Court starts day-to-day hearings in the 14 cases related to Ayodhya land title dispute. Pleading its case before 5-judge Constitution bench led by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi, Nirmohi Akhada seeks control and management of the entire disputed 2.77 acres of land. Lok Sabha was adjourned sine die on Tuesday. The first session of the newly constituted 17th Lok Sabha, which began on the 17th of June, was to conclude on the 26th of July. But the session was extended till 7th August. On Tuesday evening, a request was made by Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi to Speaker Om Birla to adjourn the proceedings sine die as 99% of the government business has been completed. The just concluded session is probably the most productive for the lower house of Parliament. In 37 sittings, productivity has been 125%. In this session, the Lok Sabha passed a total of 36 bills. The House sat for 70 hours and 42 minutes with no time lost to disruptions.
इस सत्र में सभा महत्वपूर्ण विधानों को पारित करने के लिए तथा विभिन्न महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दों पर चर्चा करने के उद्देश्य से 71 घंटे देर रात्रि तक बैठी। जहां तक पारित किए विधानों की संख्या है, समय के उपयोग और पहली बार सांसद बने सदस्यों को सभा में बोलने का अवसर का संबंध है, ये प्रथम सत्र सर्वाधिक उपयोगी रहा। 17/6/2019 से 6/8/2019 की अवधि के दौरान कुल 37 बैठकों में 33 सरकारी विधेयक पुनर्स्थापित किए गए और 36 विधेयक पारित किए गए। ये संख्या लोकसभा के अंदर 1952 में सबसे अधिक थी, जब 1952 में लोकसभा चली थी 67 दिन, जब 24 विधेयक पारित हुए थे और आप सबने सहयोग कर इतनी बड़ी संख्या में विधेयक पारित किया। 265 नवनिर्वाचित सदस्यों में से लगभग सभी सदस्यों को बोलने का अवसर प्राप्त हुआ, चाहे वह शून्यकाल के दौरान हो, सभा के किसी अन्य कार्य के दौरान हो। शून्यकाल के दौरान 265 नवनिर्वाचित सदस्यों में से 229 सदस्यों को सभा में पहली बार चुनने के अवसर पर बोलने का मौका मिला।
Before being adjourned sine die, Lok Sabha approved the resolution abrogating special status to Jammu and Kashmir under Article 370 of the Constitution as well as a bill for splitting the state into 2 union territories. The resolution was adopted by the lower house with 351 members voting in its support and 72 against it, while 1 member abstained. The bill to create 2 union territories, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, was passed by 370 votes in favor and 70 against it. The resolution and the bill were both approved by Rajya Sabha on Monday. Replying to the debate on the resolution, Home Minister Amit Shah said the government will have no hesitation in restoring statehood to Jammu and Kashmir when normalcy returns.
कि जहां तक यूटी का सवाल है, परिस्थिति सामान्य होते ही उचित समय पर पूर्ण राज्य का दर्जा देने में इस सरकार को कोई आपत्ति नहीं। और मैं आगे भी कहना चाहता हूं, मान्यवर, एक मुद्दा उठाया गया कि पाक ऑक्यूपाई कश्मीर दे दिया। पाक ऑक्यूपाई कश्मीर भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार और देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी कभी दे ही नहीं सकते। आज भी पाक ऑक्यूपाई कश्मीर की 24 सीटें हमारा हिस्सा रहने वाली है और पाक ऑक्यूपाई कश्मीर पर हमारा दावा इतना ही मजबूत है जितना पहले था। कि आपने इतिहास तो कहा कि भारत ने अपनी सेनाएं भेजी, सेनाओं ने खदेड़ा घुसपैठियों को और घुसपैठियों के स्वांग में जो पाकिस्तान की सेना के जवान थे, अधिकारी थे उनको। मगर मैं एक छोटी सी बात पूछना चाहता हूं, जब हमारी सेना विजयी हो रही थी तब, और ये सारा यश दिया उन्होंने कि जवाहरलाल जी के नेतृत्व में सब हुआ, जवाहरलाल जी के कारण हुआ और दैट इज व्हाई कश्मीर आज भारत का हिस्सा है। मगर सभापति महोदय, मैं उनको आपके माध्यम से कहना चाहता हूं कि सेना विजयी हो रही थी, सेना काफी पाकिस्तानी कबलाइयों के क्षेत्र में अधिकार में आए हुए हमारा हिस्सा जीत कर आई थी, तो अचानक एक तरफा शस्त्र विराम किसने कर दिया? किसने किया? मैं मनीष जी बताना चाहता हूं, वो भी जवाहरलाल नेहरू जी ने किया और इसी के कारण आज पाक ऑक्यूपाई कश्मीर है। इसी के कारण पाक ऑक्यूपाई कश्मीर। अगर सेनाओं को छूट देते हमारा पूरा हिस्सा जीतने की, तो आज पाक ऑक्यूपाई कश्मीर पूरा का पूरा भारत का अधिकृत होता है। कि जम्मू और कश्मीर भारत का अंग है, अभिन्न अंग है, इसके बारे में कोई कानूनी या संवैधानिक विवाद नहीं है। इसकी स्पष्टता अध्यक्ष महोदय, भारत के संविधान और जम्मू कश्मीर का जो संविधान बना था उस वक्त, ये दोनों संविधान में बहुत क्लैरिटी के साथ की है। जम्मू कश्मीर ने भी इसको स्वीकार किया है कि वो भारत का अभिन्न अंग है। मैं ये बात रिकॉर्ड पर रखना चाहता हूं कि जब मैं सदन में जब जम्मू एंड कश्मीर राज्य बोला हूं, तब पाक ऑक्यूपाई कश्मीर और अक्साई चीन दोनों इसका हिस्सा है, ये बात को और हमारे संविधान ने जम्मू कश्मीर की जो सीमाएं तय करी है और जम्मू कश्मीर के संविधान ने जम्मू कश्मीर की जो सीमाएं तय की है, उसके अंदर पाक ऑक्यूपाई कश्मीर और अक्साई चीन दोनों समाहित।
Members cutting across party lines participated in the debate in the lower house. Initiating the debate, Congress leader Manish Tiwari targeted the government, saying it cannot change the boundaries of the state without consulting the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly. Members of the Trinamool Congress staged a walkout, saying it does not want to be a party to either supporting or opposing the move.
संसद से ये कहा जा रहा है कि आप अपने आप से राय मशवरा करके, आफ्टर कंसल्टिंग योरसेल्फ, यू डिसाइड ऑन द फ्यूचर ऑफ जम्मू एंड कश्मीर। मैं बहुत अदब और सत्कार के साथ ये कहना चाहता हूं अध्यक्ष महोदय, बहुत विनम्रता के साथ ये कहना चाहता हूं कि ये संवैधानिक त्रासदी है जो इस सदन में आज हो रही है। क्योंकि धारा 3 की जो स्पिरिट थी, धारा 3 की जो स्पिरिट है, वो ये नहीं है कि संसद किसी भी विधानसभा या विधान परिषद के अधिकारों को लेकर अपने आप से राय मशवरा करके और फिर उस सूबे की जो सरहदें हैं उस सूबे की सरहदों को या बदल दे या उस सूबे को दो में तोड़ दे। ये धारा 3 भारत की संविधान ये नहीं कहती है।
You are bringing a legislation. You are bringing a constitutional change. It's okay. As far as you are concerned, you are right. As far as we are concerned, that is not correct. Sir, you are not consulting the state legislature. You may say the state legislature is not in existence. Why this particular government, the then government, the same government which was in the last 5 years, they should have conducted the election, sir. During the Lok Sabha election, they should have conducted the assembly election also. But the will of that is what I suggest is, the will of the people is not reflected here. The will of the people will be truly reflected when there was an assembly.
Even before this debate concludes, and even before the Home Minister has finished completing his reply, this day has already gone down in the history of India as a day of redemption, as a day of rejuvenation, as a day of resurgence. जहां तक अनुच्छेद 370 का संबंध है, मैं पहले भी कह चुका हूं बहुत बार, it was a miscarriage of history. And perhaps the gravest blunder in post-independence India. और आज 70 वर्ष के बाद ये प्रायश्चित की घड़ी आई।
कश्मीर के नीचे आज तक हमारा डेवलपमेंट, हमारा पॉलिटिकल एस्पिरेशन, हमारा पहचान, हमारा भाषा लुप्त अगर हुआ है तो ये आर्टिकल 370 और कांग्रेस पार्टी जिम्मेवार है। अध्यक्ष जी, मैं डॉक्टर श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी जैसे वीरों का, कुशोक बाकुला रिम्पोची जैसे महान व्यक्तियों का, थुप्तान सेवांग जैसे जिन्होंने लद्दाख को यह दिशा दिया कि हमें भारत के साथ रहना है, भारत के जयकार करना है, अपने देश के लिए मत मिटने के लिए तैयार रहना है।
And in his first reaction, Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the passage of bills on Jammu and Kashmir in Parliament as a momentous occasion in parliamentary democracy. He said a new dawn awaits the state, which is now free from the shackles of vested interest groups. He called it a fitting tribute to Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee and lauded leaders of political parties who supported the government in the decision. The government's move to integrate Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of the country has been hailed by a number of countries. Sri Lankan Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe described it as an internal matter of India. In a Twitter message, he welcomed the decision to make Ladakh a union territory, saying with over 70% Buddhist population, it will now be the first Buddhist majority region. The UAE, which has emerged as a key partner of India in the Gulf region, also took note of India's move to declare Kashmir a union territory. UAE's ambassador to India, Ahmed Al-Banna, also termed it as an internal matter of India, adding that his country expects the changes to improve social justice and security and also the confidence of the people in the local governance, encouraging peace and stability. And in some other news, Parliament passed the Consumer Protection Bill 2019 with the Rajya Sabha clearing the proposed legislation on Tuesday. The new bill, which would replace the Consumer Protection Act of 1986, aims to address consumer vulnerabilities to new forms of unfair trade and unethical business practices. The bill also seeks to penalize in case of misleading advertisements and endorsements.
The upper house passed the Consumer Protection Bill 2019 on Tuesday. Lok Sabha had passed the bill on 30th July. The motion to send the bill to a select committee was defeated. Consumer Affairs Minister Ram Vilas Paswan said the bill aims at protecting the interests of consumers by establishing authorities for timely and effective administration and settlement of disputes. He also assured members that the rights of states will not be infringed.
कि कम से कम डेट ऑफ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, डेट ऑफ एक्सपायरी, क्या कहते हैं कि कौन निर्माता है, कहाँ कंप्लेंट किया जाएगा, ये सारी की सारी जो 5-6 पॉइंट्स क्या कहते हैं जो होते हैं, जो कंज्यूमर के इंटरेस्ट का है, उसको बड़ा अक्षर में लिखो। हमने बतला दिया कि 60 जो क्या कहते हैं कि 40% कम से कम जो है वो रखो।
Members cutting across the political lines underscored the need to safeguard the rights of consumers.
Sir, when the bill was being prepared, the Honorable Minister had assured that he would provide alternative system of consumer justice to resolve disputes with the manufacturers and service providers in a simple and quick manner, that too without the help of lawyers.
लोग कंज्यूमर फोरम कुछ नाम की चीज नहीं थी, लोग शिकायत कहां करते, चीजें ही नहीं मिल रही थी। ये उस समय कांग्रेस का रिजीम था और उस समय हम सब लोगों ने इस बात को देखा है कि लंबी लंबी लाइनें थी। आज मोदी जी की सरकार ने, भारत सरकार में आज मोदी जी की गवर्नमेंट ने सारी लाइनें तोड़ दी हैं।
As per Article 283, state to pay out consolidated funds for creating bodies that would essentially be controlled by the executive at the center. We have a problem with this. These are the problems, sir.
एक ऐसा देश जहां पर 130 करोड़ लोग हैं जो कंज्यूमर्स हैं, वहां जो कंज्यूमर बिहेवियर है लोगों का, कंज्यूमरिज्म, वो एक्टिव नहीं है। इसको एक्टिव कंज्यूमरिज्म के सहारे डेवलप होना चाहिए था कि आदमी जो भी पैसा खर्च कर रहा है किसी प्रोडक्ट को खरीदने के लिए, उसकी एक्चुअल वर्थ क्या है, उसके लिए उपयोगी क्या है, वो उसको मालूम होना चाहिए।
Person who is buying from another, maybe a manufacturer, to resell it to somebody else, ultimately is going to a consumer. So if you really want to develop the ecosystem of the product quality or product manufacturing quality everywhere, then everyone is a consumer and the definition should be much more broadened so that the system improves.
जागो ग्राहक जागो का लाभ सिर्फ क्या हुआ, 2 से 3% ही लोग इसका लाभ ले पाए। तो मैं माननीय मंत्री जी से बोलना चाहूंगी कि ये कानून बहुत अच्छा, आपने बिल बहुत अच्छा लाया है, लेकिन इस बिल की कामयाबी तभी होगी जब लोग इसका फायदा उठाएं।
ऑनलाइन का जो है, डिजिटल का इशू जो हो रहा है, उससे आप ये लॉ उसको कंप्लीट नहीं कर सकती, आप नहीं करें। 24% of the frauds are online.
It is against the principle of separation of powers. You are snatching away the right of the judiciary also. What are you doing? It's the first judicial body. So I am requesting the government to consider this serious concern and requesting you to send it to a select committee.
कई लोगों को सर 90 दिन के बदले 20-20 साल से केस लंबित है, उसके लिए क्या पेनाल्टी है, कोई चर्चा नहीं है सर। सर, जिन उपभोक्ता संगठनों का बहुत बड़ा योगदान रहा इस बिल के बनने और बढ़ने में, आज वो हाशिए पे नजर आ रहे हैं सर। अलग अलग देशों में, दुबई, बैंकॉक, थाईलैंड में जो दवाइयां सर ये खत्म हो जाती हैं, उनका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एक्सपायरी बदल के यहां दिया जाता है। मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ढूंढे नहीं मिलता है सर, एक्सपायरी ढूंढे नहीं मिलता है, तो थोड़ा वो क्लियर हो।
So I think states powers are totally usurped and everybody is appointed ad hoc. So even while appointing such people by the central government, they are not fixed with the necessary qualification. Those are our concerns.
आज जो पूरे देश में खाने पीने की चीजों में मिलावटी हो रही है, जैसे कि दूध है, कोई भी वस्तु ऐसी नहीं है जिसमें मिलावट नहीं है, तो उस और भी कड़ा कानून बनना चाहिए।
The consumers has to be given more awareness so that they can approach a forum, a legal forum. They can approach a legal forum and get their things done.
The bill provides for the setting up of a Central Consumer Protection Authority to protect and enforce the rights of consumers, which will be empowered to investigate, recall, refund and impose penalties. It will regulate matters related to violation of consumer rights, unfair trade practices and misleading advertisements. It will also have the power to impose a penalty of up to 10 lakh rupees on a manufacturer or an endorser and imprisonment for up to 2 years for a false or misleading advertisement. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And Rajya Sabha passed a bill for speedy eviction of unauthorized occupants of government residential accommodations on Tuesday. With this, the bill has been passed by both houses of parliament. Lok Sabha had passed the bill on 31st of July. The Public Premises Eviction of Unauthorized Occupants Amendment Bill 2019 was moved by Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs Hardeep Singh Puri. The proposed amendments would enable the estate officer to apply summary proceedings for evicting unauthorized occupants from residential accommodations and also to levy damage charges for accommodation held during the period of litigation.
This bill was drafted, this amendment was drafted in the time of my distinguished predecessor, and we should have actually cleared this, and this House should have passed it. I personally believe, and this is my personal statement, I'm not speaking as a minister, I think the passage of this amendment will have a deterrent value. A few honorable members have asked me, क्या इस बिल को पास हो जाने से कुछ हमें फायदा होगा? मैंने कहा आपको पूरा फायदा होगा, क्योंकि जो आप उस मकान से नहीं निकल रहे हैं उनको पूरा विश्वास हो जाएगा इस बिल के पास होने से कि उनको जल्दी वेकेट करना चाहिए, ज्यादा देर नहीं लगानी चाहिए.
There is a high number of unauthorized occupation, and only in the government houses under the national capital of Delhi, in case of central government employees, sir, 675 government houses are on illegal occupation after the death of central government employees.
In Section 5 of this Act, 15 days are given for vacation of public premises. But in this bill, for residential accommodation, this allowance has not been given. 3 days is too small a time.
देश में जोत की संख्या घट रही मानव, तो हम तो देखते हैं कि दिल्ली में, नोएडा में, आसपास में कोई 10 एकड़ 5 एकड़ के बंगले बनाए हैं और किसी के पास जो है तो 10 बाई 10 फुट का भी मकान नहीं है. तो इन पे भी कानून बनना चाहिए कि जो 10 एकड़ 5 एकड़ के बंगले, इनमें भी थोड़ा उनको छोटा करना चाहिए, कम करना चाहिए कि इतने में ही रह सकते हो, इनके लिए भी करना चाहिए. गरीबों के लिए जो है मकान की व्यवस्था करनी चाहिए, जिनके पास कोई मकान नहीं मानव.
Is highly discriminatory, as it grants 15 days time for a commercial occupants or other occupants, whereas for a residential occupants, it doesn't grant any time to vacate. An ex-employee or a person on transfer or a person who has demitted office should be treated with honor. He cannot be thrown out from the premises even without granting any time.
The poor tenants, they are intimidated by state officers, kind of powers given to them. They are tinkering with the proofs which are submitted. Due diligence has been made many times, time and again, just to see that they vacate their property, vacate their tenements, and they move. If these poor people, if they are dishoused, then the question to get back the property in Mumbai is a real question in front of them.
Honorable Deputy Chairman may take a decision whether the occupation can be extended or not. Please don't, the notice should not be issued by the estate officer. It must be issued only by the Deputy Chairman. Nothing wrong in it. So, the single window for obtaining the clearances must be made available even prior to demitting the office. It must be made mandatory.
आपने लैंड पूलिंग पॉलिसी में 40% जमीन लोगों से ले रहे हैं, 60% उनको वापस दे रहे हैं. ईडीसी आप उस गरीब किसान से 100% की ले रहे हैं, उसकी 40% जमीन की मलकियत आपकी बनेगी. क्या उस जमीन को उसके ऊपर जो आप कमर्शियल और रेजिडेंशियल बना के बेचेंगे, सड़क और पार्कों के अलावा उसका कुछ प्रॉफिट का हिस्सा उस किसानों को देंगे, क्या नहीं देंगे? आप इस पे एक और विचार कर ले.
Rajya Sabha also passed a bill to declare 4 National Institutes of Design in Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Assam and Haryana as institutions of national importance. The bill was passed by voice vote in the House. The National Institute of Design Amendment Bill 2019 was introduced in Rajya Sabha by Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal on 30th of July. Speaking in the upper house, Goyal assured the members that the autonomy of these institutes would be maintained. The bill seeks to amend the National Institute of Design Act of 2014. It seeks to allow the 4 institutes to grant degrees as well as diplomas. Currently, these institutes are registered as societies under the Societies Registration Act of 1860 and do not have the power to grant degrees or diplomas.
कि हमारी एम्बेसीज और मिशंस विश्व के इंपॉर्टेंट सेंटर्स में जगह ले और हमारे हैंडीक्राफ्ट एसोसिएशंस, हैंडीक्राफ्ट्स अलग अलग राज्यों के उन जगहों पे जाके अपने वेयर्स को दिखाए लोगों को, तो दुनिया में भी आकर्षण होगा भारत की कला का, तो उसको जरूर हम टेकअप करेंगे.
Members of Parliament paid floral tribute to former Lok Sabha Speaker LS Dillon on Tuesday. A function to commemorate his birth anniversary was held in the Central Hall of Parliament. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today met governors of several states at his official residence in New Delhi. The governor of Nagaland, R.N. Ravi, called on the Vice President in New Delhi. The governor of Bihar, Phagu Chauhan, also called on the Vice President at his residence. Madhya Pradesh Governor Lalji Tandon also called on the Vice President. And so did Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa, meeting the Vice President at his official residence in the national capital. The Supreme Court commenced day-to-day hearing in the Ayodhya land dispute case. After efforts to arrive at a settlement through mediation failed, a 5-judge bench of the Supreme Court began hearing the case on Tuesday. The 3-member mediation panel looking into the dispute had informed the court that the various parties involved in it could not come to an agreement. Since March, the top court had put on hold all judicial proceedings in the case to give mediation a shot. During the hearing, one of the parties in the case, Nirmohi Akhada, told the Supreme Court that no Muslims were allowed to enter the structure since 1934, and it has been in exclusive possession of the Akhada. The Akhada Council, in fact, told the court that its suit was basically for belongings, possession, and management rights. And the Unnao rape survivor admitted to the AIIMS Trauma Center remains critical and is on life support system. The rape survivor, who last week suffered critical injuries in a collision between the car she was traveling in and a truck, was airlifted to Delhi from Lucknow for further treatment following a Supreme Court directive. The Delhi Traffic Police created a green corridor on Monday to shift the rape survivor from the Indira Gandhi International Airport to the trauma center at AIIMS, covering a distance of around 14 kilometers in just about 18 minutes. The victim's lawyer also suffered critical injuries in the incident last week, which took place in Raebareli, while 2 of her relatives were killed. The team of doctors treating her said she is on life support system as she needs medication for her blood pressure and she remains critical. The Central Bureau of Investigation has taken over the investigation into the accident and has booked 10 people for murder, including MLA Kuldeep Singh Sengar, who is already in jail, charged with the rape of the woman in 2017 when she was a minor. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thank you for your time.